Is Corbyn's Labour the new nasty party? I think it is. And imagine this. I'm going to go through a series of thought experiments with you, and imagine how you would feel if the tables were turned. Let's go through this thought experiment. Let's imagine for a moment that instead of Theresa May, the leader of the Conservative Party, imagine that Theresa May herself had spent the past 20 years on the backbenches serially voting against her party, and having spent those past 20 years cheering on, figures on the far right and celebrating them. Imagine how you would feel. That she'd spent the 1980s applauding the Ulster Volunteer Force. And that's just the Prime Minister, right? Continue the thought experiment. Imagine Linton Crosby, in order to run the Tory campaign, was hired straight from the English Defence League. Indeed, imagine Philip Hammond, prior to becoming Chancellor of the Exchequer, had been known for calling for direct action, in other words, riots, against capitalism, or to abolish the unions by direct action and force. Imagine Amber Rudd had said that every victory of the Ulster Volunteer Force was to be celebrated as a victory against the United Kingdom. For the United Kingdom. You would quite rightly be outraged. You would quite rightly say that this Conservative Party is not fit to govern. Now let's move from that thought experiment, because it's not so much a hypothetical when you take the analogies that I've just given and apply them to Jeremy Corbyn's Labour Party. Because it has been Corbyn who, for the past 20 years, has been celebrating these sorts of things, but instead with allies to the hard left. Celebrating his alliances and allegiances with all manner of unsavoury individuals, including, by the way, Hezbollah, who now the Mayor of London, his very own Labour Party member, the Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, has called for Hezbollah symbolism and flags to be outright banned, because there was a protest, there was a march in London, and the organisers, the Islamic Human Rights Committee, openly declared and told their members to come and raise jihadist flags in London. And finally, the Mayor of London has asked for that to be banned, but it won't be because it requires legislation. But it was none other than Corbyn himself who's been on that rally, who was photographed with those flags. An unrepentant Corbyn, may I add. I have an Islamist past, and I spend every second of every day now challenging that ideology because I'm no longer a teenager. Yet Corbyn prides himself on never having changed his mind on these things. Imagine now, continuing with that thought experiment, it's not such an experiment when we apply it to the Labour Party. I said, if Linton Crosby had been poached directly from, say, the EDL, well, we have that. Corbyn directly hired Andrew Murray from the Communist Party. Andrew Murray, who praises the worst regime on the planet, North Korea. North Korea, look, you can perhaps talk about Saudi Arabia, Iran, okay, but, Saudi Arabia's got some oppressive stuff going on, but if we destabilize it too much, we might unleash another ISIS, and so we've got to think about how we handle it with wisdom. North Korea is totally indefensible. And yet, Andrew Murray, Corbyn's, campaign chair, has come from the Communist Party directly and praises and defends North Korea. John McDonnell, who praises the actions of the IRA and calls for an insurrection, has called for an insurrection against capitalism. Or Diane Abbott, who said that every defeat of the British state in Northern Ireland was a victory. So when you turn the tables, it becomes apparent just how surreal it is, Corbyn's Labour Party, that is, and how unfair and hypocritical our judgment is when it comes to those same things. If the Tories were doing this, if the Tories were up to this, we, rightly so, would be up in arms.